The Great Hall of the Galactic Senate had witnessed many historic moments across the millennia, but nothing quite like this. Ambassador Kethvar of the Centauri Collective nervously adjusted his ceremonial robes as the massive doors groaned open, revealing not the expected delegation of Ragelian diplomats, but three strange bipedal creatures in crude metallic suits. The humans had arrived uninvited. "Security breach in the Great Hall," whispered Senator Yilix into her communication device, her 6 eyes darting between the intruders and the emergency protocols flashing on her display. "Unknown species has somehow bypassed all perimeter defenses." The tallest of the 3 humans removed what appeared to be a transparent helmet, revealing a face covered in coarse hair and bearing an expression that somehow conveyed both respect and defiance. When he spoke, the universal translator struggled briefly before settling on the appropriate frequency. "Honorable senators of the galactic community," the human said, his voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Expeditionary Force. We come seeking membership and peaceful relations." A collective gasp echoed through the hall. Senator Vrex of the Dominion Systems rose from his crystalline seat, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "Impossible. No species achieves faster-than-light travel without Senate approval and guidance. The exploration prohibition has been in effect for 3,000 cycles." Captain Chen smiled, an expression that seemed to unnerve several senators. "With respect, Senator, we weren't aware we needed permission to explore our own galaxy." The audacity of the statement sent ripples of shock through the assembly. High Chancellor Zephyr, ancient leader of the Senate, activated her hover throne and glided forward. Her voice when she spoke carried the weight of eons. "Young ones, the exploration prohibition exists for the protection of all civilized species. Too many promising worlds have been lost to the chaos that comes with unguided expansion. Wars, resource depletion, cultural contamination. These are the inevitable results when species are allowed to spread unchecked through the cosmos." The second human, a stocky woman with intricate markings on her skin, stepped forward. "Chancellor, I'm Dr. Maria Santos, xenoarchaeologist. In our journey here, we've encountered 17 dead civilizations. All of them were part of your Senate. All of them followed your prohibition." "Preposterous," hissed Senator Yilix. "Those worlds chose isolation over growth. A perfectly rational response to the dangers of the void." Captain Chen pulled out a small device, projecting holographic images above the assembly. The senators watched in growing unease as data streams filled the air. Star charts, resource analyses, population statistics. "We've spent the last 50 years mapping this sector," Chen explained. "Everywhere we went, we found the same pattern. Species reaching the edge of their solar systems, then stopping, turning inward, growing stagnant, eventually dying out." The third human, elderly but sharp-eyed, approached the central podium. "I'm Admiral James Wright, and I've been fighting wars since before most of you were hatched. But I've never seen anything as devastating as this prohibition of yours. You've turned the galaxy into a graveyard." High Chancellor Zephyr's bioluminescent patterns flickered with anger. "And what makes you believe your species is different? What arrogance leads you to think you can succeed where others have failed?" Captain Chen exchanged glances with her companions, then faced the Chancellor directly. "Because we've already failed, and we kept going anyway." She gestured to the projection, which now showed images of Earth, scarred, partially healed, but vibrant with life. "We poisoned our atmosphere, depleted our oceans, fought wars that should have ended our species. We came within decades of extinction 3 separate times, but each time, instead of giving up or turning inward, we adapted, we learned, we reached further. When our sun began its expansion phase earlier than predicted, we didn't accept our fate," Dr. Santos added. "We moved our entire population to Mars while we built our first interstellar vessels. When Mars proved insufficient, we established colonies in the outer system. When those resources ran low, we looked to the stars." Admiral Wright's voice carried a note of pride. "We lost entire colonies to disease, to accidents, to hostile environments. But for every colony that failed, 2 more were founded. That's what humans do. We explore not despite the danger, but because of it. Senator Vrex's tentacles had stopped writhing. You speak of expansion as if it were virtue itself. What of stability? What of peace? What of growth? Chen countered. Look around you, Senator. This chamber hasn't seen a new member species in over a millennium. Your peace is the peace of the grave. The Great Hall fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. High Chancellor Zephyr studied the humans. For a long moment, her ancient eyes reflecting depths of thought accumulated over centuries. And if we refuse your request for membership? If we order you to return to your system and abide by the exploration prohibition? Captain Chen's smile returned, broader this time. Then we'll continue doing what we've always done. We'll keep exploring, keep growing, keep pushing boundaries, with or without your permission. The prohibition has the weight of law across 17 systems, Senator Wilix warned. Violation could result in planetary quarantine or worse. Dr. Santos laughed, a sound that somehow conveyed both humor and threat. You're welcome to try. We've mapped your fleet positions, studied your defensive strategies. We didn't just walk in here uninvited. We walked in completely undetected through your most secure space. What does that tell you about the effectiveness of your prohibition? The silence stretched longer this time, filled with the unspoken recognition of a fundamental shift. These creatures had done something none of the current member species had ever accomplished. They had chosen chaos over security, growth over stability, the unknown over the familiar. Finally, High Chancellor Zephyr spoke. The Senate will consider your unique perspective on galactic civilization. But understand this. If we grant you membership, it will not be as subjects to our guidance. You have already proven such guidance meaningless to your kind. That's all we ask, Captain Chen replied. A chance to show you what's possible when you stop forbidding exploration and start embracing it. As the human delegation was escorted to temporary quarters, whispered conversations began throughout the Great Hall. For the first time in millennia, the Galactic Senate was being forced to confront a simple, terrifying question. What if their greatest protection had become their ultimate limitation? The humans had walked in uninvited, but they might just be the key to walking back out into a galaxy that had forgotten how to dream of tomorrow.